pledges, lock the door behind you, this meeting is not for the general public. Today's topic is women who get hot just long enough to secure a man and then detonate. It's not about love, it's about leverage. So it's raining, so that's like the noise that you hear in the background. Please excuse that. I wanted to talk about this video that I saw, and I found it so interesting. This lawyer was discussing unusual prenup clauses that she had seen, and one of them was a weight clause. And it basically said that both her and her partner had to remain within 20 pounds of their weight on their wedding day. And then, of course, there was fidelity clauses and all these other clauses that she had discussed. And I'm like, let me hop in this comment section. And the comment section did not disappoint. It was all women complaining about how horrified they were about the weight clause, how terrible. Oh my gosh, can you believe? Can you imagine? They were all so grossly offended by the idea of having to stay within 20 pounds of their wedding day weight. And I thought, how interesting. None of these women had anything negative to say about a fidelity clause, right? If you cheat on me, or if I cheat on you, there are going to be certain consequences that we're going to outline in this legal document. They didn't have any problems with that. Nobody has a problem with the fidelity clause if they're monogamous by nature, if they don't struggle with being faithful, right? If your partner said, hey, I'm putting a fidelity clause in here just to make sure that both of us keep our legs closed, you'd be like, great, that sounds wonderful. But you're personally offended by a weight limit clause because you know that you have every intention of gaining weight. Somebody who had no intention of cheating wouldn't be offended by a fidelity clause, but you're upset because you know that you're going to gain more than 20 pounds. This weight clause was not about pregnancy or anything else, but you have every intention of gaining weight in this relationship. And that's what this video is about today. I talked about the feeder earlier this week. I want to talk about the women who are only thin when it's time to trap a man. So I didn't become aware of this phenomenon until one of my friends got married. And this was before kids. Okay, so this is not some, oh, I had kids, so let me blame my 100+ pound weight gain on my children. This girl was probably about a size 6 to a size 8, very shapely hourglass. She carried weight well. But I didn't realize how she was like white knuckling this size 6, size 8 body. She was putting in a concerted effort to try to stay this size until after she got married, after she got like comfortable, she knew that this man was not going to leave her, that there was going to be social repercussions, that like she felt safe. And then she blew up and then she got big. And I thought to myself, this is interesting. So whenever I see a woman gain significant weight in a relationship, I don't believe in happy weight. Oh, we gained happy weight in the relationship, and I'll do a separate video on that. But whenever I see a woman gain significant weight, I'm like, she's either being abused, her nervous system has been dysregulated by this man, and that is why she's gaining weight. There are things happening, and sometimes women are very psychic creatures. If your man's cheating on you, you know. All of the etheric connections and cords between the two of you, there's information that you're receiving on a subconscious level, and maybe you're not aware of it, but we can see how you're processing this information, and it's through overeating. But then there are the women who are in relationships now, and they want to actively take advantage of the fact that this man isn't going anywhere, especially if they've secured him with marriage, especially if they've secured him with children. They have every intention of never dieting ever again. I want to get back to the weight limit clause in the prenup and why so many women were offended by this. And this is because they wanted to gain weight without consequence. Oh no, please don't put anything about weight gain in that legal document. Please don't let there be any legal consequences for me gaining weight. There should be legal consequences for you cheating. There should be legal consequences for you wanting to leave me. But I should be able to gain 100+ pounds and you should be forced to deal with it. You should still be attracted to me. I know when I met you, I was a size 8. Now I'm a size 18, but that doesn't matter. You should still be attracted to me. And these women want to hold their men hostage sexually. This is what's so interesting. So they attracted this man at a certain size. Now they are so far away from the weight they were when they met that man, but that man is still supposed to be sexually attracted to them. That man is not supposed to look at women who are a size 8. That's the body type that gets him going, not your current body type, but he's not supposed to be sexually aroused by anyone else but you. And women who don't want to hold up their end of the bargain in a relationship but demand monogamy and faithfulness, I think it's the height of disrespect. I think it's so disrespectful. Okay, you had the kids. Okay, you had the postpartum depression. So we're all clock watching at this point because I'm clock watching too. I'm like, okay, it's been 5 years since she had that baby. Is she going to get that weight off? Does she have any intention of getting that weight off? No? Okay, all right. But her man's supposed to still be faithful. Her man's supposed to still find her to be the most beautiful woman on the planet, but that's not his preferred type. I've watched so many videos of bigger girls who talk about how there are men who prefer bigger women. Valid. There are men who prefer bigger women and there are men who don't. So now you're a big girl. You didn't attract this man as a big girl, but now you are one, and that's supposed to miraculously become his type. It's delusional. And you know what's so interesting about these women? When their man basically comes to them and says, hey, I'm not attracted to you anymore. Let's exercise together. Let's get healthy together. They will turn this man into an absolute villain. They expect unconditional desire from this man. Their body can look like whatever it wants to look like, and he's supposed to still be into it. Whatever version of herself that she decides to show up as, he's never supposed to stop sexually desiring her, adoring her, protecting, providing. It doesn't matter. When he signed that legal document, he was supposed to be locked in. And that's why they were so resistant to the idea of a weight clause, because they want to gain weight. This girl was waiting to gain weight. As soon as she knew he was locked in, she let herself go. And I just thought, it's the bait and switch. And this is why there's so many men who are like, they're terrified. They're terrified of sitting with a girl who's only keeping the weight off until she traps a man in marriage. And then it's all bets off. It's if you value moderation and exercise and fitness and health, you're doing those things for yourself. There's no external motivators for why you want to be athletic, why you want to be healthy. And that's what these men are afraid of, because there's too many women out here waiting to never have to be in a calorie deficit ever again. They're only in a calorie deficit to be attractive to men. And then once they get one, he's still supposed to love me anyway. I love women who complain that there's no communication in their relationship. Meanwhile, this man's actively communicating with you, saying, hey, babe, let's start walking together. Let's meal prep. Like, this man is the opposite of a feeder. This man actually wants you to be physically fit. And when he sees you not taking care of yourself, he's like, hey, let's do something about this together. She will call this man emotionally abusive. This man is a terrible person because he wants his wife to look the way that she looked the 5 years they were dating. These women will wait. They will wait to put the weight on. As soon as they get that ring, as soon as they get down the aisle, as soon as the paint dries on that house they just purchased, boom, boom. Here she goes getting big. And I think it's so disrespectful and harmful And a lot of people be like, oh, it's just aesthetics. It's shallow. Weight shouldn't matter. Not being attracted to your partner because they're neglecting themselves. So there was something that you were once doing that you're now no longer doing, which is neglectful. And your partner should just have to deal with it. If your man just stops showing up to work, like he's just going to work whenever he feels like it, like you wouldn't take that personally. You wouldn't find that offensive. Him being irresponsible with his finances is putting your relationship in danger. And you not taking care of your body is putting his sexual attraction to you on the chopping block. And the fact that these women don't care. I've never seen so many victims gather on the internet under the guise of feminism ever in my life. They'll be like, oh, what about women who are ill? What about women who are this or that? I'm not talking about these women. I'm not talking about women who gained weight because of sickness and whatever else. I'm talking about women who've gained weight and haven't gotten it off because of laziness. They always resented having to stay thin. They were never thin pre-marriage, pre-relationship, because they actually wanted to be thin, because they actually wanted to be physically fit. They were literally only doing it to get male attention. These women are absolutely diabolical. She only goes on runs so men think she's hot. She's not running because she loves to run. She's not running because she gets a runner's high. She's running to manipulate men. And the thing about these women who get big in their relationships, the moment they're single again, the moment that they're getting a divorce, the moment that their man breaks up with them or their relationship fails, these women are getting their revenge body back. These women are dieting. These women are exercising. These women are getting hot again. So please explain to me why you didn't think you needed to be hot in your relationship with your husband. You didn't need to be hot in your relationship with your boyfriend. You felt comfortable gaining 60 plus pounds in your relationship with your man. But now that you're single again, somehow miraculously, you have the energy to get into a calorie deficit and exercise. So you didn't have any energy when you were married. Oh, I'm just so tired. Oh, I'm a mother now. You had every excuse for why you couldn't take care of yourself. But now that you're single, you've got all this time freed up to get back in the gym. And it's like, here she goes again. Yep, she's going to get thin so she can trap a man so she can get big again. And it's this weird little loop that I watch women that I personally know engage in. And I just think to myself, like, what would be the inverse of this? If a man was doing this sort of bait and switch, what would his version look like? And how would the women be on the internet talking about how he's a terrible, dangerous individual? But I feel bad for men who get trapped in these relationships. And I always say there's always telltale signs. First of all, how fit is she? And I know this sounds terrible, but I tell my brother all the time, I'm like, if she's not in the gym, if exercise and healthy eating is not her personal religion, keep it moving. If she's only in the gym, like, she's dragging her feet to get to the gym like 3 times a week, that's a girl who, as soon as she gets comfortable, she's gonna get big. As soon as she gets comfortable, she doesn't really want to go to the gym. That's why she's only in the gym 3 days a week. She doesn't really want to eat in moderation. She's struggling to order a salad. Eating a salad feels like punishment to her. And she's punishing herself and she's going through all of this stuff so she can secure a romantic partner. She knows she can't just gain 60 pounds while dating you. She's trying to get the ring. I love women who all of a sudden need to lose 40, 50 pounds for their wedding. So these women are only externally motivated. If they don't have an event to go to, they don't have a reason to lose weight. These women will be like, oh my God, how do I lose 50 pounds in 10 days for my high school reunion? What do you mean? What do you mean? You knew your high school reunion was coming every single year since you graduated high school. What do you mean you now need to lose weight to get ready for the event? What do you mean you now need to lose 50 pounds for your wedding? And then as soon as the wedding is over, she's back big again. Like, these types of women I take issue with. I really do, especially when it's done to manipulate men, to trap men. And there's no one for this man to talk to. There's this like skit on YouTube. It's basically like a support group for men whose wives got big, and it's like a comedy. And it's hilarious, but it's also really sad. It's also really freaking sad that these men married a woman who was a size 6, size 8, and now she's a size 24. And he has nobody to talk about how that has personally affected him, how he's hurt by that, how he's confused by the fact that she would put on that much weight. And he can't talk to her about it because he's harming her. And he can't talk to other people because they'll tell him that he's shallow. But my question is, if your man just gained 200 pounds and just didn't want to exercise and didn't want to, what? The men aren't doing this. The men aren't gaining so much weight that they are distorted. Their features are distorted. They just look like blobs. They're not doing that. I've never heard one woman talk about how she's turned off because her husband gained 100 plus pounds and refuses to work out, refuses to download the Weight Watchers app. There seems to be this weird collective agreement between women that we don't call this behavior out. Because what it is it's deceitful. It's dishonest. Okay? And nobody's talking about it because women don't really want to name this as a problem because they too, in the back of their minds, are thinking like, well, I might gain weight too. So like, let me not call out this behavior. In the same way that the women were offended about the prenup clause, 20 pounds is a lot of weight. 20 pounds is enough weight. That's a solid runway for you to deal with any sort of emotional trauma. What were you doing before? So you were maintaining your size 6, size 8 body before. So what are you doing now that you can't exercise and you can't eat in moderation? Your children are the reason why you can't eat in moderation because you don't even need exercise. You don't need exercise to be slim. So explain to me how your children are the reason why you're overeating. Are you unhappy? Because these women will never tell you that they're unhappy. Are you unhappy in your marriage? Is that why you're overeating? Oh no, my marriage is perfect. We're so happy. We're so wonderful. So what's the reason why you've put on as much weight as you have? I watched this video of this girl and she was asking her audience, and it was very interesting. She was asking her audience how much longer she had to blame the fact that she hadn't got the weight off on her children. And she was legitimately asking, like, how much longer do I have to say that it's baby weight before I look foolish, before I seem fraudulent? And some of you are literally blaming your children for weight on your body. Your children are in college. They're in high school. What do you mean your kids are the reason why you're big? As if the weight came on and it's impossible for it to come off. So I had to talk about the male feeder. And so I felt like it was only right to talk about its inverse, which I'm going to call her the trapper. Women who trap men in relationships, right? She baits him with a really nice body and then boom. As soon as their finances are entangled, as soon as they're living together, as soon as it becomes difficult for him to leave her, somehow it becomes difficult for her to eat in moderation. And these women will publicly shame this man if he tries to leave. He's not allowed to get his sexual needs met by a woman that he's attracted to. And she doesn't feel like it's her responsibility to remain attractive for this man anymore. But like I said, let them get divorced. And guess who'll be back in the gym? She'll play the victim the second he asks her to go for a walk. She'll call him controlling if he so much as suggests a salad. But don't worry. The minute they break up, she'll be back on the treadmill like she was never gone. Because she never loved fitness. She loved the performance of effort. She loved the leverage of thinness. And now that she's lost the ring, she needs a new one. So you'll see her again. Probably in Pilates. Probably hungry. Probably hunting.